we've seen Rock do that, and that wasn't very successful with Rock, but obviously Bisu, a much better player than Rock in my opinion, no offense to Rock fans, and Bisu expanding actually going to double expand and use those carriers to cover both locations, because right now Upmagic doesn't have really anything to do with either location. Upmagic finally getting those other two factories down very late. Looks like that starport has an extension on it, so going for maybe a drop harass. But Upmagic, I feel like he's kind of behind macro-wise, and whatever he's going to do with this drop, it's got to be fantastic. And really, I don't think he really can make it fantastic, considering how many units Bisu has and the lack of units that Upmagic has. He is kind of, as you can see, that large Dragoon force, and I think that can pretty much get anywhere on the map. It's going to be hard to kind of move him just simply because of the nature of Blue Storm. Looks like he's going to drop there and just kind of take out that probe. It doesn't look like Bisu opted to take that. He is going to be able to open sub, take a couple pylons out, but not before those Dragoons are going to be able to turn around. And he's not going to be able to spot these carriers in time. That's really unfortunate. If he had just pressed up on the main, he would have seen those carriers, and he might not have gotten owned by them. Blue Storm, actually, I think, is a decent map for that carrier push. If Bisu kind of does what Nalra did and kind of protect them with the Dragoons, and he's going to have an easy time doing that, especially because I don't think there's going to be any Goliaths on the ground. Looks like Comsat is up. I'm not sure if there was a Comsat off, though. As you can see, looks like Bisu's base did get Comsatted at least once, but I'm not sure if there's a spot off. And now Upmagic desperately trying to get his production up, and we'll see if he has an armory down. I don't know if he has an armory down quite yet, but already 2 carriers out. We're going to see 4 carriers, and I see as soon as those other 2 carriers are produced, my guess is you're going to see Bisu immediately go for Upmagic's main and just try to go for the Jugular. A couple Goliaths out, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. And again, a lot of Dragoons down, and I think Upmagic realizes it, that really if he's going to contend this way, Charm and Booster are upgrading now, so he does in fact know the carriers are there. One, he needs to get as far into Bisu's territory as possible to kind of fight it off. Bisu now starting to move up as those 2 carriers are the other 2 carriers are almost finished. He needs to push up as far as possible to buy himself some time, so that Bisu kind of has to work his way up instead of just kind of going straight into his main. Bisu in the meantime looks like he's going to fall back. Actually, no, looks like he's kind of posturing more towards the north, going to go after the secondary line, just kind of gathering up those Dragoons, it looks like, at the moment. And wow, it looks like Upmagic actually going to try to do a seal in, just going to kind of try to divide the map in half. And I haven't seen that in a Pro League map. Going to get 2 more starports down. Looks like I'm not sure if he's going to go drop a free. He's actually just going to try to go Wraith. Looks like Bisu's going to spot out that bottom right hand expansion, and he might just go along the bottom right with those carriers in the meantime. Those 4 carriers up, and it looks like a dropship alongside with the Reaver, and wow, looks like that Spider Mine is going to spot it out, though. And we'll see if Upmagic has anything to deal with this. As you can see, I think he was producing Wraiths there, but he might actually just be going for a large dropship type build. And now looks like, yeah, you can see the secondary getting pummeled, and a Reaver dropping as well along with the Dragoon, so a decent setup. And now Upmagic does have the 2 starports, but it doesn't look like any raids are being produced. He has a handful, looks like a control set, a good decent amount of Goliaths, and really Bisu doesn't have anything to protect the carriers, so just trying to get that comp set down, going to try to do as much damage as he can, and then probably going to fall back from there. And those Goliaths actually pinned behind that map artifact. As you can see, it's just a little pinch there. They can't push through. They have to go all the way around, and so yeah, that's really going to be to Bisu's advantage. And now they are starting to come around. Bisu, I think he might be going for the gas. I think he's just going to let the Comsat center burn down. As you can see, just going to move up with these Goliaths and just kind of try to drive those carriers back. And but he did the damage. He managed to hold up Magic's production for a little while, but and try to take the economic advantage in the meantime. But I think Upmagic already had another expansion up, and as you can see, another just kind of Upmagic just trying to seal as best he can. I'm not sure if that's going to be all that successful. Bisu had a really full production. Looks like he has another expansion in the upper left-hand corner, and I think he has everything he needs to just continue with his carrier harass. And I think that's why Upmagic I think realizes this, which is why he's going those wraiths. And really, I'm really glad to see Terran go kind of this wraith push, especially in supplement with Goliath, because I think that combination, especially with the tanks with some decent amount of micromanagement, you'll see something really special. And I think Upmagic might be able to fight this off, and we're definitely going to see an interesting competition come all the way down to the wire, and it's just going to be an absolute micromanagement competition. Those Goliaths just trying to drive those carriers back and getting kind of held off by just kind of pacing back and forth and making sure the carriers don't do any damage along the lines. And a lot more Goliaths being produced. Let's see, my guess is as soon as Upmagic has about 6 raids, it doesn't look like an observer is actually in that main group with those carriers, so that's also going to make them vulnerable in my opinion. So Upmagic, though, if he is going to press alongside, Comsat going off, he did see it. He does have a large group of Wraiths, and we'll see if the Wraiths push up here in a second. Let's see if the Comsat goes off here in a second to take out the Observer. And just a second here, you're going to see them push up. I'm not sure if... yeah, now they're starting to push up. I'm not sure if they have Cloak researched yet. Comsat going off. He's trying to find that Observer. There's no Observer in the area, though. And here come the Wraiths, and Bisu in a little bit of trouble here. As you can see, trying to retreat. He's trying to make sure... Comsat in the background, making sure no other Observers pushing up. There's the Observer right there, and as soon as the shot comes off, he's going to draw those Wraiths back. And really, I'm surprised that more Terran players do not do this. I really do feel like it's an effective counter against the carriers. As you can see, Bisu totally retreating, and it looks like that secondary is going to stay up for Upmagic. Really, I'm just absolutely stunned that more Terran players don't do that sort of build, and maybe a note for players in the future. And really effective. And now a big, huge push coming up the middle. Bisu going to try to break the seal. I'm not sure if there's actually enough tanks down for Upmagic. He's been dedicating so anti-air, but a lot of tanks there, and going after the tanks with the carriers. In the meantime, the Dragoon's going to push up, and wow, absolutely huge attack. And these Wraiths going to come in the meantime. I'm not sure if he got a Comsat off on the Observers, but doing a fantastic job kind of countering there. And let's see if he gets a Comsat off here in a second. And Wraiths, Vulture's somehow in the bottom left-hand corner. Doesn't look like he managed to get the carriers, but did manage to take a carrier down with the Wraiths in the middle of that distraction. Absolutely kind of stymieing that push by Bisu, and looks like he's going to start repositioning. He has a ton of troops and absolutely wiped out the ground force of Bisu. I'm going to push in, take care of the rest of the Dragoons, and then probably just go for that secondary at the 6 o'clock position just outside of Bisu's base. Bisu desperately trying to cover that with the carriers. Going to try to separate the carriers from that kind of Wraith harass. Still has that Observer out, and as you can see, that Observer still right there in position. More mines being produced just to kind of cut off ground forces from that 6 o'clock position. Bisu in the meantime going to try to bring those Dragoons around and make them worthwhile. And those, oh wow, looks like Upmagic managed to get those mines right down on the rally point of Bisu's forces. Really clever on his part. More carriers being produced. Looks like some Corsairs up to counter the Wraiths. That's a really clever move on Bisu's part. Really, as you can see, needs to basically invest resources to protect his carriers. And looks like those. Wow, I think that move might have saved Bisu's 6 o'clock expansion. We'll see here in a second. 2 more Observers being basically being produced. We'll see, and really Upmagic, as you can see, that's why I like that Wraith push. It forces Protoss to basically readjust, invest resources elsewhere instead of just in their main unit, and then you can go back to Goliaths and tanks and do exactly what you're going to see here is this massive push while the Protoss player is readjusting. And that Reaver's still out. I'm surprised that dropship's still around. Another big attack coming in the middle. Bisu with the large grouping going to have to retreat here. Managed to get 2 of the Observers down. And really, that was beautiful, catching him out position. More Wraiths being produced. Almost got a couple hits off in the shuttle. Still 1 Observer in that grouping, and that might be the deciding factor here. We'll see with that Wraith harass. And again, going for the secondary, managed to get a drop off, managed to get the Reaver and the Dragoon down there. Upmagic just going to try to take care of that Dragoon force. I'm not sure if he realizes the secondary is getting pummeled, or I'm not sure if he even cares at this point. We'll see. Maybe he's just going to rely on the Wraiths here in a second to take care of that. I'm not sure if they're even up anymore. A couple mines going down, and looks like he might try to pin them in, actually. Bring the Goliaths backside and push in from the front side. We'll see. Looks like that expansion is going to go down for Upmagic. This is turning absolutely into a fantastic game. If